Scott, tell me what's in the box.
I think as the 10-year anniversary is upon us, I will give this as my gift to the fan base on this 10th anniversary. What's in the box is...
This is way overhyped.
Yeah.
Aww. Hi, Mabel.
Yeah, she's the best. What's going on, guys? Dorko back again. Hope you're
Didn't she get hit by a car and then survive?
It's the 10-year anniversary of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah,
It is
strong
August
puppy.
the 5th, which means if you've been looking at the list, what the official Twitter has been saying, it's the interview.
Alrighty,
with Scott
I'm gonna
Cawthon,
mute.
everybody.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Dawko, good to see you again.
Yeah, it's 6 years since the last interview, right? Which is crazy. A lot of things have been happening since then, so let's go back a little bit. So the interview was August 2018. So after that, we got Help Wanted, Special Delivery, Security Breach, Help Wanted 2, Ruin DLC. So there's a lot going on. And of course, the future games as well. Yesterday, Steelwall has announced something. I don't know what it is yet because we're recording this, you know, a couple of months before. But guys, whatever it was, I hope you're very excited for it. Future Dorko, Into the Pit as well. Stuff to look for. There's so much stuff to look forward to. And it's really cool that you've done like a week of exciting things for the 10-year anniversary. You know, we've never seen something like this before. 10 years of Five Nights at Freddy's, which is...
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy, right?
Man, I can't believe it's been so long since our last interview. That really seems like just it doesn't. How long did you say ago it was? 6 years ago? That's hard to believe. That's impossible to believe.
I know, right? I've actually got a song for you that I'm going to play for you to celebrate the 10-year anniversary.
Okay, no, this is getting things off to a kind of an awkward start, but I'll let you go on ahead.
Okay. Are you
No,
ready
wait,
for
you're
this?
gonna be performing. Wait, you're gonna be performing this yourself, or is something recorded?
I've got the harmonica right here.
Oh, a harmonica. Okay, my
I've
favorite.
been practicing this song for over 32 years. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you ready for this?
I'm ready. Come on now, you started this.
Right. Okay.
Let's go.
Ready? I'm really good. I'm really good.
Now, I will admit that I couldn't actually hear that. I don't know if your thing was cutting the audio out.
Well, I actually played a spell.
Oh.
The spell is from 1864 by a wizard named Dewey Muscrewy.
Okay.
That spell has now hypnotized you to tell me all the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, jeez. Now, I thought we talked about this in advance. Now, listen. This is a bad idea to start talking about lore. All right, well, here, you have to give me specific questions, and I'll see what I can answer for you.
I was joking.
But I make no promises.
Scott, tell me what's in the box.
Wow, just direct. Just out and direct, just like that.
Yeah.
Well, look, okay. It's the 10-year anniversary, okay? And even though I like to be elusive, I like to kind of tease the fan base. I like to, and I do like there to be an air of mystery about things. Sometimes I do let things go on for too long. And I understand that sometimes things become not fun anymore and things can become frustrating for theorists. So, okay, I think as the 10-year anniversary is upon us, I will give this as my gift to the fan base on this 10th anniversary. What's in the box is...
He forgot.
Well, I
Oh
don't
my
think he
God.
means he literally
that's about it?
forgot.
And that's it, man.
So like we've been speaking about, 10 years of Five Nights at Freddy's, which is a crazy amount of time. I can't believe we're still here. It's been such a journey. So I just wanted to ask you, do you have a highlight moment for the whole 10 years of Five Nights at Freddy's since 2014?
I think there have definitely been a lot of satisfying moments. Like obviously, if whenever one of the new games would come out and it would be positively received, that was obviously a huge relief. There's never been any goal other than just giving everybody what they were really hyped up about. Because when you see everybody getting hyped up and getting excited, if suddenly something comes out that just is a big letdown, there's no greater fear, I think, for a game developer. So that was always satisfying and a relief. But I think the biggest highlight was probably just going to the movie theater to watch the movie when it finally came out, because behind the scenes of all of the games throughout the years and behind the scenes of all the books being written and everything else, there was always the movie. The movie was just a slow burn project, even just starting as late as 2014. So that has been in the background, being progressing for almost the entirety of that. No, not almost the entirety of that first 9 years. So to be able to actually go sit in the theater and hear the reaction from everybody and hear the fans really enjoy it, that was definitely that was definitely a moment of just real happiness for me, I think.
Literally 9 years, having ups and downs, getting the script right as well. I know you've said on post before you've had so many scripts made for the movie. The plushies in Manhattan or something, that was one of the scripts. So
yeah, it was.
Yeah, I can imagine how difficult it's been, like trying to get it all done. I can just imagine. Well, I can't imagine it because I'm not you, but when me, Raz, and Ryan and Baz went to a premiere for it and sat down at the cinemas, and we all looked at each other at the end, and we had to we couldn't believe it, and we didn't even make the games. We've been there since basically day one, but we all said, imagine how Scott's feeling right now, just sitting down and seeing it actually, on the big screen. It must be a crazy feeling.
Yeah, and now that I've been through the process, I can tell you it's a miracle that any movie gets made, just being through that process, just how many wheels have to be turning at the same time. And how many things, and even though this process took a long time for me, Hollywood works at just blazing speed, where there's 100 things happening at the same time, and it's a miracle if these things get coordinated. And sometimes things don't work out, but sometimes they do. On the day that I was driving to New Orleans, and the shooting was supposed to start the next day, on that drive, I was on the phone. It was like a 5-hour drive from where I was. I was on the phone the entire time trying to finish contracts and finish negotiating points, because there were still open items with there were still things that needed to be resolved with Universal, Blumhouse, the Actors Guild, the Writing Guild. There were just Louisiana. There were all of these things, and any one of them not being settled properly would mean we couldn't start filming. And all of those conversations were happening at the same time, and all of them depended on one of the other ones. And so that was a very stressful drive, but that's the way that Hollywood works. There's a million things happening at once. It was definitely a whirlwind, but to see all of those pieces come into place, it was pretty remarkable. And yeah, like you were saying, just all of the scripts, starting just with 2015. There were a couple of deals that weren't very good that I'm very fortunate didn't pan out. But then whenever I was with Warner Brothers briefly, that was a good deal, and I was very, very grateful to have that. But even that, whenever the stars seemed to have aligned, things just didn't work out there either. And so I was really fortunate to meet up with Jason Blum and get to have that deal with Blumhouse. They had a lot of faith in the project, and they were following my lead on a lot of things, sometimes to a fault, because lots of times I would throw things out and want to start over. But, they were with me the whole journey. They were with me, and they believed in the vision. And everybody just had the fans at heart. That's all anybody wanted to do. Everybody was just making sure that every part of the movie would be something that the fan base would look at and recognize or relate to or connect with. And I think in the end, we were able to accomplish that. And I'm just really happy with that. And I think we landed with just the perfect cast, which, again, that almost didn't happen either. There were a couple of instances where someone else was about to get a part, and then something would happen that would make that not work out, and then someone better would step in. And I've said this to, my contacts at Blumhouse. numerous times just over this last 6 months, even since the movie came out, thinking, aren't we glad that we got like Josh Hutcherson for this role? Like, isn't it great we had Elizabeth Lale for this role? Isn't it awesome we had Matthew Lillard for this role? You know, isn't it great we ended up with Piper Rubio for this role? Like, every single person that we ended up with was just absolutely perfect in those slots, and everybody was just a delight to work with. Once again, since I'm new to kind of the film industry, I got to talk to people about their other experiences on other projects, and it can be really scary because usually, from what I understand, every production has one one member of the cast or one person on staff or just one person that, you know, causes problems or something like that. We didn't have anything like that. Nothing like that. Everybody was just phenomenal. They were just a joy to work with, and getting to go to filming was really fun. So it was a really fun experience. And in the end, I'm just happy that the fans were happy with it. Now, that's not to say the film didn't have it's places where it could have been improved. And we're all, you know, and we all, me and Emma and Jason Blum, we're definitely chat about that and looking to make sure the second movie is a step up and an improvement. So lots of good things to look forward to, I think.
Yeah, it's exciting. And yeah, you're right about the fan reaction. The fans absolutely loved it. Like, we all can't wait for the next movie. It's so exciting. And I'm so glad, like, it's actually happening as well. So yeah, exciting times.
Yeah.
So yeah, you said that you've got a highlight of the 10 years of FNAF. If you could go back and change one thing in those 10 years, do you have anything that you would change? You can't say the box.
No, you know, the one thing I would change, I wish I could go back and have one more shot at FNAF World. I really, really do. I know it still would probably definitely be the oddball in the series, no doubt. And maybe it would still have been a poor decision in general, but there were just a lot of bad decisions made at the beginning of that project that doomed it from the start. Like, I was making it with mobile in mind, so it was a really slow resolution. I was thinking about it as a game on the phones. I tried to make the whole game on one frame in Click Team Fusion. That just means I wasn't allowing it to be as big as it could have been. I was trying to cram it all together for my own convenience. There were just several decisions that were made that really hindered that. And also, I was in a rush because I was getting a little arrogant, thinking that, hey, anything I make is going to be gold, you know. And I definitely ate some humble pie with that really, really quick, and I learned that is not the case. And so I've tried to be very careful to not make that mistake again after that. But yeah, you know, if I could go back and change one thing, I wish I could maybe work with a different developer and just really make it a high resolution game, get in some really good graphics, maybe get someone else to, you know, help me with those graphics. And it could have been a good game. Who knows? Maybe somewhere down the line, if I get really antsy about it and have a lot of free time on my hands, maybe FNAF 2 or FNAF World 2 might be a thing.
Yeah, I was about to say that, you know, you could still get a different company to do a FNAF World game. It's not over yet. I think I've said this to you before. I love FNAF World. I think it is so underrated, and I always say FNAF World is underrated. I love it so much. There's just a charm to it. I really do. And I know you don't like it, but I absolutely love it, man. I really do. I love everything about it.
If I had allowed myself to work on it for one more year, just like really double its development cycle and let it be a high res game, I bet it would have really been something. But like I said, who knows? Maybe for the sequel someday.
Let's move on to Steelwall. The amazing Steelwall Studios. That was the next game after Ultimate Custom Night. Help Wanted. One of my favorite games in VR. I absolutely loved it. What has it been like working with Steelwall? Were you nervous about it? Because I know it's a big thing to, you know, give a company your baby basically and let them, you know, do what you've been doing for the past 5 years. How was it for the first time letting someone else work on FNAF?
I was really nervous about it. I was really nervous. You know, I went several years still doing it by myself, even after I had the financial ability to pay other people. Again, I wasn't in that mentality of being able to do that. So even though I could have done that, I was still doing things just all by myself, all the way through Pizzeria Simulator.
Yeah.
But by then it was I knew that it was getting too much for me. I knew that I had to find another partner for it, and I was scared of that because, you know, there are stories all over the internet available about just games that went completely wrong because of games being mismanaged in the hands of development companies, and I'm sure that all of their pitches on the surface would have sounded the same, but I really got lucky. For that reason, I really feel like I got lucky, because whereas I probably could have accidentally ended up with a company that did botch something, I didn't. I think I really honestly believe that I landed with the best, just one of the best development companies. They've been just a pleasure to work with, and they've done a really great job. This last one they did, Ruin, I thought it was just so much fun. And I think that might be my favorite thing that they've made was Ruin. And the things that they have planned, which I'm not going to talk about right here, but the things that they have planned are really exciting too. So yeah, I've been really happy. It's been a really good experience. Well, I'll tell you, on Help Wanted, I was going to throw in, I'm happy with how Help Wanted came out, because at the time, and I don't have this anymore. I don't have a VR setup anymore. But whenever the first Help Wanted came out, I did have a VR setup, so I was able to beta test. And of course, I was leading the charge to want to beta test my own games. I got into the Funtime Auditorium and I noped out of it. I took the headset off, and I immediately got on the phone with Steel One and said, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to test it. You test it. You're going to test it. You'll find someone else to test it. I didn't even get jump scared by Foxy. I was just in there in the darkness, and I knew I wasn't going to do it. And I never played it again. And I never played Help Wanted, and I never played Help Wanted 2 either. And I'm not going to.
People need to understand it though, right? Because in the past, like when I've obviously done videos on Help Wanted 1 and 2, I get a comment saying like, it's not that scary, you're overreacted, it's not that bad. But you don't know until you've literally put on the headset, right?
Yeah.
It's completely different, just watching it from a screen is compared to having the actual headset on. It's terrifying.
Yeah, completely different experience.
My other question, Glitchtrap is one of my favorite characters in FNAF now. I absolutely love Glitchtrap. What are your thoughts on Glitchtrap as a whole, with the development of Help Wanted?
I love the character. And I know that this is kind of one of the places where I know that there's a little bit of a divide with maybe me and the fan base, or maybe just within the fan base, because I always lean sci-fi. I have a tendency to lean sci-fi, even though I try to come back into the roots of the supernatural instead. But I can't help my inclinations to lean sci-fi. So anything that involves possession of AI or possession of machines or circuitry, that I love that sort of thing. So I love the idea of Glitchtrap. I'm not a huge fan of the name, and here's the way that these things happen. Okay, and this happened with Burn Trap too. Whenever I'm in the planning phase with Steel Wool, we come up
Hearing
with
Scott say Burn Trap just sounds so surreal.
Whenever we're doing the pre-production document, I'll say, well, he's glitchy. We'll call him Glitchtrap. Oh yeah, he's burned. We'll just call him Burn Trap. But then those names get embedded in the source code because they use those temporary names also. And once they're in the source code, and once someone finds them in the source code, that's it. Like that's the canon name now, and there's nothing I can do about it. And hopefully we're learning our lessons going forward to maybe find I don't know, to just hone in on a better process there, because yes, I love the character. Not a huge fan of the name, but it is what it is for now. It's the name.
I love Glitchtrap's name. Can you think of a name like on the spot, like what you would want to call him or not?
Oh, I have no idea. But you know what? A good example is Mexus, from Ruin. Now that was a character where even in just my design of the game, I thought that through, and I came up with that, and I'm really happy with it. I really like that name. It's a really cool name. But now, see, if I didn't have one of those ready to fire off, I might have thought up something like, I don't know, Purple Trap or or AI Trap, or just something temporary, and then that would have been the can name. That would have been so much worse than Mexus. So
yeah.
After Help Wanted, we got Security Breach. Were you happy with the release of Security Breach when it first came out?
Security Breach, there's a really big story behind that. That was definitely a challenging period, and a lot of things just didn't align up perfectly for that, and there were a lot of reasons for that. I mean, obviously, I hear lots of studios and things kind of blame COVID for stuff, but there is a reason for that. COVID took well-structured work systems and suddenly scattered them and expected the work to continue to flow. And it just doesn't work that way. From my understanding, I'm pretty sure most, if not every member of Steel Wool got scattered across the country and were trying to just carry on with the workflow. And it was just really difficult. I think that's really the only example when my idea of how a game was going to go was misaligned with how things were going with Steel Wool. And I had a specific story for this in mind. Okay, for Security Breach, I really did. I had a very specific story in mind, and it is very different than the one that got in the game. And I think a part of that is the way that I conveyed that to Steel Wool, because what I was trying to do was I was trying to tell Steel Wool to do specific things throughout the game, put specific items in specific places, have specific characters do certain things, meanwhile not telling them what the story plot was. Because in my head, I was thinking, okay, when people find this, they will connect this to this to this, and it will all be revealed. And I thought I could do that without telling Steel Wool the story plot. That didn't work out very well because they got all of these pieces and they thought it was their job to connect them in a way that made sense. And so really what you ended up having were the same pieces, but telling completely different stories. And since I was trying to kind of tell a specific story with mine that went a certain direction, they were taking pieces I didn't fully understand and trying to craft a story out of them. And again, I don't blame them for that. I blame myself for that, because I guess what I should have done is just said, hey, here's the story. Here's why these pieces are here. Here's how they're supposed to connect. And I can give you a really easy example for this. And I'm hesitant to say this because I don't like messing with the lore, but I think in this case, it's okay. When it comes to Burn Trap, originally, Burn Trap was never supposed to move. He was supposed to just be something you saw in the corners, or like if you were walking past machinery, you might be able to peek in between two things and see him in the corner or propped up against a wall, almost like a some kind of decaying movie prop. And you never fully understood what his purpose was. And he had a very specific purpose, and I'm not going to say what that purpose was, but realistically, he never moved. Well, obviously that's not what we got in Security Breach. In Security Breach, we got a capsule opening and purple smoke flowing out and him climbing out and coming to get you. And so it's just not quite the same thing. So, but anyway, it didn't turn out the way anybody wanted. But hey, whenever that happens, just like whenever I stepped in it a little bit with FNAF World, me and Steel Wool got together. We were like, look, all that matters now is making things right by the fan base. That's all that matters. We all had the best intentions going on. We all wanted to make a good product, and we went in and we made Ruin for it. And I hope that redeemed the game, and I feel like it did, because I think it was really great. And anything that we do going forward that continues that story or has those same themes, I think we're just going to be in a much better situation to continue on.